Welcome back to another episode of the Realness Meets Logic podcast. We are on episode 9, titled People Pleasing is Not Nice. All right, we're going to get right into it. So, people pleasing is not nice. No matter how nice of a person you think you are, you're probably not as nice as you think you are. Let's be honest. You're probably obliging to do things that you really don't want to do. It's probably been things that have been asked or requested for you to do for another person, and you genuinely did not want to do it. But guess what? You went and said, sure. It's rarely ever a solid yes or a solid yeah. It's either a yeah, or a I guess, or sure. That's the most common one. When you get asked to do something that you really don't want to do, and then you get in the people pleasing mode, from what I've seen, it would be sure. Like sure. Or I guess I could do that. It's not a solid yes. So we're going to get into some of these definitions. First, we have a very short definition of the word nice. It is defined as an adjective used to describe someone or something as pleasant, agreeable, or kind. Just thought I'd let that breathe for a moment. All right. We're going to get into the definition of people pleasing before we start to kind of touch on those definitions as a whole. All right. So people pleasing is defined as a behavioral pattern of consistently prioritizing the needs, desires, and opinions of others, often at the direct expense of your own well-being. All right. So trying to combine those two. When you think you're being nice, you're really being a people pleaser. And what it is self-explanatory. You're pleasing people, which you can never do 100%. You can never please 100% of the human population. Period. You just can't. There's always going to be something that you do that is going to that's not going to gain their approval of you. That's not going to give you access to their validation. People pleasing is a losing game. It's a losing sport. Let's call a spade a spade. I am a recovering people pleaser because I still have some of those tendencies, but a lot of that stuff, because it's really manipulation, because you are not even being true to yourself in these moments. And we're going to get a little bit more into that as I have some notes prepared here. All right. People pleasing is an avoidant and manipulative behavior pattern covered by the term being nice. So where we think we're being nice, we're really dabbling in some form of manipulation and also being avoidant. Why are you saying yes to something you don't want to really do? Because you're avoiding a person's potential reaction or response that may not be to your liking. You may not want to rock the boat, and we're going to get more into that as the podcast goes on. So because you don't want to rock the boat, you're avoiding a potential reaction that may or may not happen by giving that person or thing exactly what they want, even when it's completely against your overall well-being and what you really want to do. Now, this isn't just about being selfish in a bad way. It's about self-preservation. In this world, we have givers and we have receivers. And then we have takers. All right? There's a difference between being a receiver and being a taker. There's a lot of takers out here. And when you're a giving person, they're going to keep on taking as much as you will give them. All right? It's like having a pans full of food at a family reunion or a family function. They're going to take as much from you as you are willing to give out. And when you're a giver, like how I used to be a giver, it's almost as like it's a bottomless supply of whatever it is that you're giving those people, because of the people pleaser in you just wants to please. And that means that word no is very few far in between in your vocabulary. And if it is in your vocabulary, it's not being utilized as much as it should be. All right? So, people pleasing is a form of manipulation because it encourages that person to suppress and repress how they truly feel towards someone or something out of fear based on how that something or someone could potentially respond. This creates a false sense of a good standing relationship, whether that be personal or professional, due to unresolved tension that was born and nurtured by multiple decisions made to appease that certain person or place, even when it's not in alignment with how the people pleaser really feels about that situation. So getting into how it can be manipulative. So you thinking, oh, I'm just being nice, but you're not. I don't even want to say you're being fake. I don't want to say that, but you're not being yourself. You are strategically, whether you know it or not, strategically making these decisions in a way of where you're subconsciously or consciously, I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or if it's just genuinely a pattern that you're trying to break. I don't know. You know that. I don't. But it is from a place of control. You're trying to control the situation. When we do that, we're trying to control the situation. We're trying to control how we're being interacted with. And that's a false sense of control. And we're going to get more into that as the podcast continues. But I definitely did want to say that piece really quickly. It's all based off of control. I'm speaking from a personal perspective as well, because I'm not just going to dish out something that I don't know about or that I have not experienced. That's not what this podcast is. We real and logical over here, baby. All right. So that is coming from a place of control, a false sense of control, because we can never control or predict 100% what a person will or will not do. A lot of people pleasing comes from being avoidant of the unknown and what can come from that unknown space. We need to free ourselves from that and truly move in a way that is true to ourselves. You can be kind to people, of course. Yes, please be kind. Please be polite. Please be kind. Don't be around here being a big jerk. Don't do that. Do not do that. However, this whole I'm being nice, no, please cut that. Because I had to come to the realization that I'm not a nice guy. I'm not. It's some things I don't want to do. It's some conversations I don't care to have. And there are some things that is just not in alignment with me, and I'm going to say no. Now, that was something I had to work on, because there's genuinely some things that somebody else would think would be nice, but then to me, it's like, no. And that's okay, because one thing that I preach throughout this podcast is that we are all different. We are wired differently. Am I a nice guy? No. However, am I a good person? To my standards, yes. I've heard that from other people as well. And I do feel that I am a kind person. But am I nice? No. That's a manipulation. Again, there's different views and different perspectives, but that is mine. All right, let's move forward. Trying to keep the peace with others can cause you to have war within yourself. 9 times out of 10, when someone is keeping the peace, they are holding back and denying parts of themselves that want to be heard in that moment. This can cause unnecessary buildup, which can grow to be resentment towards the person or place we repressed our true feelings to maintain a false sense of peace within that situation. I know that was a lot, but we're going to break it down, all right? So let's go back to that first talking point. When we try to keep the peace with others, that can cause us to have war within ourselves. So trying not to rock the boat, more likely than not, we are holding back what we really want to say, what we really want to communicate, what we really need to communicate for that to truly be a healthy relationship or situation that we're in with that other person or that place or whatever the entity is. All right. And with that being said, you have to choose yourself, especially when it's the right thing to do. And let's be real. Let's be real. Us choosing to keep the peace in whatever situation, friendship, relationship, family, whatever that is, we're causing that war within ourselves. It's a lot of internalizing going on. It's a lot of buildup. And then that can cause you to resent that person or place that you have been trying to keep the peace with. And you're also not giving that relationship or that whatever that connection is or situation is a fair, real, genuine chance to be an actual healthy situation that is for you. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when we rock the boat, that's how we will be able to know from the reaction or the response that comes after that from whatever person or place we are connected to in that situation. When we rock that boat by speaking up for ourselves and saying what we genuinely feel needs to be said, is going to help you to determine if that is truly a situation for you, or and if it is a situation for you, if it is the right situation for you and it is aligned with you truly, and you find that out after rocking the boat by speaking your truth, that's going to help the relationship flow in a better, more healthy direction where the peace in that situation will be authentic and it won't be some false sense of peace because you didn't want to shake the table or rock the boat, if you will. And then if it's not the right situation, if you find out that after rocking the boat and you get some responses and reactions that show you that that's not the right situation, it gives you all that you would need to walk away from that situation. All right? Sometimes you got to rock the boat because we overstay our welcome in places and with some people that truly do not fit us. All right. Again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is my perspective. It's not the perspective. It's just a perspective that so happens to be my perspective. All right, moving on. We're going to cover this very briefly, 'cause I pretty much jumped ahead and spoke on this talking point, but I'm going to say it anyway. Rocking the boat can help the friendship or relationship flow in a new, possibly even better direction. Sharing and expressing one's thoughts and opinions toward a situation may rock the boat, but it is also valuably important for having authentic and healthy relationships with the people and places we are involved with. Having rock the boat moments, having moments of us rocking the boats, having moments of us rocking the boat can also help us weed out and determine if our connections with that person or place is still a genuine good fit for our lives. All right? And I'm going to leave it there. People pleasing is not nice, and it's not good for you. And realistically speaking, and genuinely speaking, it's not good for whatever person or place you are people pleasing, or pleasing in general over your own well-being. All right, that is the end of this episode. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel at realness meets underscore no it's at realness meets logic podcast. Follow us on Instagram at realness underscore meets underscore logic. Follow us on TikTok at realness underscore meets underscore logic. And we have more platforms coming soon. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Hopefully you took something from this episode. Please share this episode with who you feel will resonate to this message, or who you feel needs to hear this message. And I'm out. Support, share, peace. It's your host, Avrion, signing off.